Good morning. We are here on Takeover Tuesdays. Welcome, everybody that's joining us and tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you a little bit about what Takeover Tuesdays is. It is a show and a segment to connect communities for small business owners to tell their story and just to support small business because we all know that we need that support to continue to thrive, especially during this pandemic. So it's just a place where community members can share their testimonial and what they've been through as business owners and just keep those connections flowing and going. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my phenomenal guest, Ronell Hardin. Welcome, Ronell.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes, you too. It's glad to be on the. I'm glad to be on the other side. So I have to share a quick fun fact with our audience, if you don't mind. So me and Ronell, we go pretty far back. I mean, it's been a minute. Because we have two things in common. So we started out in broadcasting school together. That's how we met. So we do different radio shows. He's had me on his, which is awesome. And we'll talk about that later. And then we both went into the mortgage and real estate industry. So we both do dual. And it was so funny because I called him one day or he called me out of the blue. And it's like, what? Wait, you're in real estate? You're in mortgage? So that was crazy.
Yeah, it was actually crazy because so obviously, yeah, we did the broadcasting school together, which was good fun. I still have my show going, which you've been on, which is awesome. And then I got into mortgages, and I had seen that you had posted like I'm doing real estate now, and I like stuck my hand up like, hey, wait a minute, are we working together? And so it's gonna blossom and work from where we're at. This is just the beginning, so
Yes.
we got a bright future ahead of us.
Yes, and if I could, I got to plug you already. Ronell is actually working on my refi right now. So, I'm going to have my own testimonial once it's done, but we're going to get through that process and I'm going to come back and tell you all about it. Okay.
Yes, and we're gonna get you good and handled, and anybody else who wants to get good and handled, RonellHardin.com. Come find me.
There you go. All right. So let's just start with tell us about yourself, Ronell, and give us the good juicy details.
Well, so for me, like you said, I'm a radio personality by trade. That's who I am. I really like being, like creating, like being on air, like being on the radio. I love doing stuff inside the sports world. I'm trying to cross over and do some more political stuff because of the times, lack of a better term. And then about a year ago, I got into mortgages, basically to see how my city has changed. I grew up right here in Denver. I grew up in East Denver. I went to East High School. Hey Lolo, if you don't know. And and I saw my entire neighborhood do a 180. I grew up, I won't say an all black neighborhood, but a predominantly minority neighborhood. And now my neighborhood is not that anymore. It's majority. And watching that happen, I wanted to learn how that happened. What was it? I couldn't just sit back and go, oh, it's because of the man. It's because of no, there's clearly a process and a cycle in which took place. We call it gentrification, but gentrification isn't really just a bunch of one group of people walking into a neighborhood and buying everything. It's not literally that. It's a time, it's a process. And learning this process really came to the money, like learning where the money comes from, who gets the money, who has the money. And at the end of the day, it really just funneled me right to mortgages. And that literally is the start of, let's say, the gentrification process of my neighborhood.
Yeah, I like it. You know I'm all about going to the roots of how things got to way they are. Uh, so
Mhm.
I love that you dove into that and really got to the bottom of how this all evolved and came to be. To me,
Yeah,
that's really important.
and it was a when you see transformation and you don't either ride the wave or catch it, you get left behind. And it's happened. In 2008, I was, in my early 20s, and I didn't understand how money worked. Had I known then, when everything had plummeted to buy stuff, to where now, well, not now, but there was a period of time where everything had reached record highs and peaks and value, and I didn't catch that wave because of my lack of knowledge. So
Mhm.
now that I do see how home value increases every 10 years, how it doubles in value every 10 years, I understand how putting money into a home instead of into rent is technically a savings account that technically grows over time. And I didn't see any of these things until I took a step back and wondered, why has my neighborhood done a 180 on
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree
me?
more. And that's why I got into real estate for the same similar reasons, because I wanted to understand and be able to help others in my community that just might not be aware and not know what to do.
And
So,
help is where it's at. And for me, having the knowledge and having the voice, being in radio, to tell people, stand on the top of the mountain, hey, buy a home. Don't let them just take the money for the rent. Save your money, keep your money, invest your money. And I'd say I don't have a larger megaphone as I do now as I did. So now I'm screaming at the top of my
mhm.
lungs on the tallest tower to tell everybody, you gotta basically funnel your money back into your other pocket and not into somebody else's.
Yeah. Well, you just answered my next question, which that all this being said, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but is this your inspiration? Is this what inspires you every day to do mortgage?
Yeah, the let's just say for me, being a young black man, home ownership wasn't necessarily a goal and a dream. It was basically not to get killed. And at a point in my life, I learned that I wasn't gonna get killed. I was going to be here for a while. I just need to start nourishing relationships, taking care of business, handling what I got to do. That was in my 20s. But it took me a long time to learn how money grows without having to go work hourly for it. We were in the radio industry. They were paying us pennies for
Yeah.
our ideas. Little do we know, our ideas were worth way more than the pennies they were giving us for them. And so now I I've learned that. I've learned that my ideas are worth more than an hourly wage. So now I'm taking a system that's already built in place, already regulated, already modified, and I'm just learning how to get my wheels in the traction of this real estate game. And it's going well. I mean, let's just say, as a young black man or a young mid young black man, I feel like I'm late into the game, but you have to make these strides of growth to get really anywhere. And so for me, growing myself and then teaching people, this is how you grow. This is how our neighborhood changed completely. Is more the motivation that keeps me going. Showing people how to get to that next step.
Yeah, I love it. And on this show, we always talk about small business, but this still ties in, even though, like you said, you're working for an organization right now, because again, it goes back to ownership. So whether you own
Mhm.
a business, whether you own a home, whether you own real estate, that's all ownership. And we need all of that.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I'm still technically a small business if you look at it where I'm a one man band. I have an umbrella that I'm under, but just say when you deal with Ronell Hardin, you deal with Ronell Hardin from 0 Point Mortgage, not 0 Point Mortgage, and you're going to get Ronell Hardin. Ronell Hardin's what you get first. I am my business. I am me. I am the time and the work and the effort that I put in to provide the services, the time, and the resources for my clients. And so when they say a small business, hey, I'm 5'9", 154 pounds, kind of a small business. You know?
But thanks for correcting me on that. You are right. And you, I mean, you said a mouthful there, because again, I think it's important for people to know that you don't have to start from scratch. That
Mhm.
being said, because I think a lot of people, when they want to do something and branch out on their own, they think I literally have to start from the ground up. And there's a lot of systems already in place out there that you can be your own contractor or independent entity and still do your thing, but be you utilize someone who's already spent the sweat and tears making the process.
Yeah, and I anybody can do it. One of the best things I had read was Richard Branson, and he said the best investment you can ever put anywhere is in yourself. And the second that you grab a book or you take a class on something that can benefit you, then then you will have you'll have optimum understanding of what investing means. It's like I could pile money into a certain anything, but once you start learning how to invest it in it properly, no different than the way you would do your education or you would do your health or we do our children. The same with the second that you start applying that, then investing for, let's say, your future, for your retirement, for your children's college, that all comes secondary to the first initial investment that comes with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So if you could share with us, I like to help the audience understand the industry and how real estate and mortgage works. Is there one or two things that stick out with you that you might want to share with our audience as to things that they might not be aware of, or I guess stereotypes or misnomers out there that in the mortgage realm?
Well, one of the main things that I think a lot of people, especially who that look like me, think that you can just go buy a house with money. Money is not just the ticket. Now, if you have $500,000 and you want to use $500,000 to buy a $500,000 house, be my guest. It's open. You're the real estate agent. We'll get you your 3%. You know how that goes. But for the majority of people in the world, they don't have that money. So, in order to make steps and strides, you don't need physical stacks of cash or large bank accounts to make your next move, to get to the next step. You need credit. And for a lot of people let's just say in my shoes, come from my neighborhood, learning about credit wasn't put to the forefront until after you had bad credit. And so for now, one of the main things I want to tell any and everybody who's considering home ownership is protect your credit. Protect your credit like it's your life. Protect your credit like it's your children, because this is what's going to dictate how much money you spend in the future for loans and your ability to get loans, because that access to capital is one of the things in the Black community that, let's just say, hasn't happened on a great deal over the past 50, 60 years for us to gain equity. And that's, the optimum form of business is equity. Buy low, sell high. And we miss that gap by not having credit. A ton of cash, but credit is where it's at.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And if I could stop you for a minute, I'm going to say hello to a couple of guests. Our Anthony's joining us. Good morning. He's a regular. Thank you, Anthony. He's always tuning in. Manushka, she says, this is music to my ears. Hashtag financial literacy. I couldn't agree more, because if you got financial literacy, you've got everything, right?
And I'm trying to play that violin for some Vivaldi to keep her soothed. So let's go.
Yeah. What can you talk to us about what's unique about 0 point mortgages? Is there something that you offer that maybe others don't, or maybe something you bring to the table?
Well, here at 0 Point Mortgage, one of the things that we like to pride ourselves on is flexibility, and that's with the ability to take loans to different banks in different places and shop around. Where if you go to Wells Fargo is going to give you a Wells Fargo product. That's it. That's what you're going to get, hands down. And they're pretty, let's say, cookie cut already on what they can do for you. Here at 0 Point, we don't necessarily just have a cookie cut standard, because we can use over 120 banks in the country. We can go from East Coast to West Coast. We can go from, any loan program or loan product. We can take it from bank to bank to bank to bank to shop the best deals for our clients. Then we have some of the best technology wise, from getting from client to closing. The second we get an application in to closing, everything is really digitally based, from the e-signing all the way down to closing, which is the physical part where you need the pen and paper. But everything before that, technology wise, is pretty impressive here at 0 Point Mortgage.
Very good. Very good to know. So if someone wants to work with you, what is the first steps before they call you, or should they call you first and talk to you about the first steps?
In my case, calling me first would be optimum, in the sense of you want to figure out how much money you can spend. If you don't have any, let's just say, a budget, and you're not very good at going, oh, how much of my income can I utilize for my housing, I would be the perfect person to call in that sense, because I can definitely help you get a number in your head for realism on what you can afford, what you can buy. But if you already have economic standing with yourself, which we all should, you've been paying rent, you've been buying groceries, you've been getting your paycheck, you get your direct deposit, then you would pretty much go to your realtor. Your realtor would find you a home. Once you find out where you want to go, then I'd be the person who steps in and gets you the funding. So I could work on both ends, basically in the sense I could be your first point of contact. I could find you a realtor too. But for the most part, it depends on where you stand financially. You know your financial stuff, go to a realtor. If you're lacking financial information and you need to know what you'll need before you start attacking this big grizzly bear called home ownership, I would be a really good first source to get your finances in order and learning. And I can help you with, finding a place to get your credit either repaired or restored or something. I personally wouldn't do it, but I would be able to lead you in the right directions for that. So I'm good for the money part. If you already know, if you don't know how much money you're planning on spending or how much money you can allocate out of your budget to home. But if you already have all that in your mind, how much you want to spend, how where you want to go, your realtor's their best bet. Then you come to me once you need finance.
Yeah, I agree. And I will second coming to you, especially if you don't know, because I have found personally as a real estate agent that the clients that I won't, all my clients can be successful when we work together, but the clients that we expedite the process and it goes faster is the ones who have worked with the mortgage company first or the officer first to figure out what they can spend. And it seems to go a lot faster once that process is done.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's pros and cons both ways. Sometimes, you get like realtors who are like ready, like, oh, we need this closed in 25, 20 days, 30 days. It's like, all right, well, have you spoken with your borrower? Do you know how well your borrower is set up to even, make this happen, make it move? And so, just probing and knowing the information of the borrower and in your case, your clients, is really essential. And that, let's say money is one of those things that not everybody necessarily is truthful about.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say people are lying, but it's one of those things. Like, how much did you spend on groceries last month? They'll go, oh, about $300, knowing they spent $300 in restaurants. We're not even talking about eating dinner. So it's one of those things. It's about knowing your budget, knowing how well you are with your money, and then making the right choice.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ronell, is to be honest. And it's, I've been through the process several times, and sometimes you don't even realize, like you said, even if you're not lying. But I think it's people don't like to talk about their money, but that is the first step, as you mentioned earlier, into home ownership or property ownership or anything. You have to be honest. I agree with yourself and others because that also. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like that slows the process down too.
Oh, totally. Like when somebody go, "Oh, I make $60,000 a year easily." Well, that's cool and everything, but it's actually 54.
Yeah.
And then you made another $6,000 under the table. We can't use that income. You need to claim it on your taxes. You got to pay taxes on it before we can use it. You have to have had it for 2 years. It has to be continued for 2, 3 plus years, depending on the situation. And not everybody has the direct knowledge. Not to say that they're lying or trying to be, like misleading, but sometimes they just don't know. I mean, sometimes they just don't really, really know how well their finances are set up.
Yeah, and I think it's important just not to be ashamed of where you're at, and I think that's key. If that's holding you back, I can say I've had all levels of different incomes as an entrepreneur, and you can't let that worry you. You just got to start where you're at. So if you're making 22,000, it's okay. You talk to Ronell, he's going to still give you a ton of options, and even if you're not ready yet to make that next move, I think you can help them be prepared for that next move. So it doesn't
Oh,
matter if
totally.
you're making 20 or 100,000, you can still go on that road to home ownership.
Yeah, and to your point, there's people who are better suited to get a home mortgage with a $22,000 income than somebody with $100,000 income because of spending and, let's just say, poor budgeting, lack of a better term. Let's say living outside of their means. I mean, I know people who have, make 16, $17 an hour whose savings are outrageous. It's like, why haven't you invested this? But then you meet somebody with $100,000 income and they got $4 or $5,000 in their bank. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing with the money? Like,
Yeah.
what? This chandelier looks nice, but it's not going to invest. It's not going to grow in value for you. So it's really about personal. Uh, people's personal preference on how they live and how well they are structured with their budget and their finances.
Yeah. So to recap, so you would say get your credit up. Is that the first thing you'd say? What's the three things?
Protect your credit. I mean, like Wu-Tang said, protect your neck. Your neck is your credit. Take care of that, because it's really, really a tool more than it is a label. And that tool will help you build almost anything. The tallest buildings in the country, in the world, were financed. So you can't have a bathroom with the tile that you like, unless you get some financing or hit the lottery. Number two, I would say have a plan. The main thing is about having a plan. Home ownership is not to be taken lightly. It's not for the faint at heart. Renting is a comfort level. If the hot water heater goes out, make a phone call. We get it done. When you're the homeowner, if the basement's leaking, you got to get a pail and a bucket and get this moving. This is your job now. And so do your research and know what you can afford, know what you can maintain. If you're in a relationship with kids, know how much space you need. These are all things that people don't take into account until it's too late. And then the third thing I would really put in place really is, like dream big. And this really doesn't have anything to do with finances. I guess this just really has to do with, the person. Your mom's house was nice. The apartment that you live in is nice, but Beyonce's mansion is amazing. And if you dream for that and got half of it, you're still in 10 times better than where you're at. So I'll tell anybody to basically just go for it. Just get off the couch. I tell you, when you come to my show's called Xtralaps on Mile High Sports. You put in that time, that work, that effort, you'll see the results. And when you shoot for the stars, even if you shoot for the moon, you miss, you're amongst the stars. You're still in a good place, better than the people who are just sitting on the couch, the people sitting in the house, the people not doing anything. You want to step up to home ownership, you can, but you have to probably step away from some of the walls and gates that stand in front of you. You're gonna have to leap over those, jump over, or just break them down entirely. And so that's what I say: dream big and pursue. And that's how you'll get to home ownership. That's how you'll get me on the phone. That's how you'll have Jessica on the line getting you that dream home. So dream big.
Yeah, I am all about it. I love it, love it, love it. So we're going to do a few things before we have about 5 more minutes. But before we wrap up, the first thing I want to definitely get your website on, posted in the comments so that folks can reach out to you if they're interested in discussing with you about mortgages. So what's the best way to reach out to you?
You could go to my website, ronellhardin.com, RONELL, Hardin, HARDIN, one word, .com. That's my website. You can go to the contact information sheet, plug in your little info, say hi to me. I'm also on Facebook, Ronell Hardin, Twitter, RoundEasy26. That's more my radio stuff. And you can also just give me a call, 720-401-6535. That's my telephone number directly. Then I have my office number.
You're going real fast right now, Ronell. I'm going to need you. Wait, say the number again.
My telephone number is 720-401-6535.
Okay. I just want guests to have that who are listening.
Yeah. Okay. And like I said, RonellHardin.com is probably the best place to go get information about all types of loans, from VA, FHA, little information about Freddie and Fannie. Those are the organizations that buy loans. FHA is the government organization that takes loans. Also, so all that information is on my website. Go give it a look. VA loans, anything you want, any information you need loan-wise, it's on there. And if it's not, say something in the comments, and I'll definitely try to get it up there and get it updated and reach out to you.
And I can attest. I have to plug you again, because as a person I'm a client right now, and Ronell works his butt off, right? I know him as a friend, and sometimes I got to get on him as a friend. See, as a friend, it's different. As a friend, I'm like, hold up, you didn't text me or whatever. But as a client, He is on it. He is like texting me, calling me, Jess, I need this, I need that. I mean, he's in constant communication. So I can speak to that truly. Like, he's on his game and he's constantly trying to figure your stuff out. I mean, you've done a lot
Yes,
of research and homework to figure out what you can do for me. So that's what I appreciate.
and that's what it's about. It's about help. Like I said, not everybody knows, not everybody understands, and not everybody has that. Let's just say that rook in the corner who can make those moves straight up and down. And for me, I could be that for you. I would really go to bat for you. I, I'll take the brunt of the blades basically to make sure we can get you good, processed, and into your dream home.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we go, I have to talk about radio a little bit, and I'm going to have you back on. Like, we are going to do in a few weeks. We're going to get into the radio stuff because that's our other love. Yay! I
That's
get
passion number
excited.
one.
Yeah, I get excited about it. Broadcast. All right, so let's talk about Xtralaps. Just give us a quick, summary of what it's about, where it's at, how people can listen.
So I'm on Mile High Sports 104.7 FM or 1340 AM. Mondays and Fridays from 7 to 8. My show's called Xtralaps. It started off, it was a sports radio show, which I've been doing sports radio about 5 years now. And then after Nipsey Hussle had passed away, at that time, I wasn't doing any radio. I wasn't doing anything. I was kind of like slumping. And Nipsey Hussle had passed away, and it was, kind of tough. I don't know if you know a lot of young black men, but that was like a tough death. Like that and Kobe were some really rough deaths in the young black man community. And so just sitting back and listening to some of the music, it was basically like, yo, get your feet off the couch and go do something. The only way this is going to work is if you put in the time to work the effort. One of his favorite sayings is, the only reason why I'm good at this is because I didn't give up. That's the only reason why I'm still here. I've seen a ton of people come and go, but the difference between me and them is I didn't give up. And so once I said, oh, I'm not giving up, got me another show, got me another team, got my show up and running. My show's been on for a year now, solo with no co-host except for, Jessica when I have her. But I do everything, the marketing, the promotions, everything, all solo. So, and that's my mixtape, lack of a better term. But with the mortgages, is where I'm at 40, 50, 60 hours a week. So.
Yes. And can I just add one, Ronell you are like the most energetic. That's what I love about doing shows with you, because, we just mix it up, have fun. He's super energetic. Like, I mean, it's just it comes natural for you. And if you want to just have some fun with sports, definitely you want to tune into Ronell, because he'll have you he'll give you facts, but you also have fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like, let me give you stats and all of this. So, and then when I come on, we really mixed it up. we get a little bit into sports celebrity dirt,
Yeah, pop talk, as we like to call it.
You got to mix it up. So I hope to be joining you more. Definitely once the season NFL comes, me and Ronell are definitely gonna keep plugging away at some stuff. So.
And I should be picking up a third day here soon. I may be doing the Monday, Wednesday, Friday deal, or quite possibly Monday, Friday, Sundays to do the football thing. But that's in the works. I'm working on that right now. But I do want you to come on down. Come on, Jessica. We need you.
I'm coming. So I'm excited. My Monday, before we go here, my Monday commitment ends next week. So I'm back on. Yeah.
All right. We'll be seeing you in the next couple of weeks, which will be awesome. But like I said, any and everybody, tune into the radio show. I'd love to entertain you that way. But for anybody who has any questions about financial literacy, home ownership, the steps you'll need to get to start getting the building blocks in place to move out of the place where you rent into a place where you own, just give me a call, 720-401-6535 or ronellhardin.com. And I'm here to help. Money's what it is, but for me, I'm here to get people over the hump. I'm here to be that guy who takes your foot and pushes you up so we can get you over that wall into home ownership.
Yeah, I appreciate you today. You have been so informational, and I just gave us a lot of information, so that I hope that it's been helpful to those of you watching. And actually, Danny, my friend Danny was on. He says, "Sorry if I missed it, but do you work in refis?" Yes, 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 yes. So
Yes.
definitely he can help you out. Yeah, he can help you out. All right, Ronell, it's been a pleasure. I will have you back on soon because we're going to get into the radio stuff. But until then, everybody, please stay well, be inspired every day, and just take care of yourself during these.
Wear your mask, people. People, put your mask on, okay? We need people with mask on. I can't stress enough. Wear your mask. Please, please, please.
Ronell's got like the top of the line, Matt, like ready to go to battle mask.
I mean, this is how I've been, and this is how you'll probably see me in person, but I can't say it enough. Please wear your mask. I want to go outside and play soon. I want life to kind of come back to a place of normalcy, and let's not make this a political game. Put your mask on, people. Please.
I second that. All right, until next time, have a good day. See you next Tuesday.
Peace.